I using the wrong microphone, Dave?
Yeah, use the other one, it's better. Which one on the bottom?
You can tell I'm a professional. I'm really good at this stuff. Well, we're very proud this year. We've got more than the usual run of celebrities and famous folks. All the way from Australia, the guy with the hat there we have, Tim the Yarra Man. There, walking up the stairs, we have the legendary punk rocker, one of the original British punk rockers, Grant Scabies in the Damned. And now, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the British Museum reading room in 1930, Mr. Charles Ford. Good evening, Mr. Ford.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Lo, I am Charles Hoy Ford, son of a brutal grocer and husband to a gentle parakeet fancier, Miss Anna Filing, for whom I have a magnetic attraction. Just my little joke, just your little silence. What is a scientist but a glorified grocer with his weights and measures and cheese-pairing chop logic? In 1916, an inheritance from a rich uncle freed me from the drudgery of the wage slave, allowing me to devote my time to the collecting of damned data, inconvenient accounts of anomalous phenomena that the grocer scientist either sweeps under the shop carpet or dismisses using the most feeble and fanciful of excuses, and indeed rationalizations. My literary style has been described as poetic, puzzling, and profound. It has also been described as atrocious. Teleported hither at vast expense to read extracts from my work, I give you leave to pass your own judgment. Falls of living things. We shall pick up an existence by its frogs. Wise men have tried other ways. They have tried to understand our state of being by grasping at its stars, or its arts, or its economics. But if, and I think you'll agree there may be an underlying oneness of all things, it does not matter where we begin, whether with stars, or laws of supply and demand, or frogs, or Napoleon Bonaparte. One measures a circle beginning anywhere. I have collected 294 records of showers of living things. Have I? Well, there's no accounting for the freaks of industry. It is the profound conviction of most of us that there never has been a shower of living things. But some of us have, at least in an elementary way, been educated by surprises out of much that we were absolutely sure of, and are suspicious of a thought simply because it is a profound conviction. I got the story of the terrified horses and the storm of frogs from Mr. George C. Stoker of Lovelock, Nevada. Mr. John Reed of Lovelock, who is known to me as a writer upon geological subjects, vouches for Mr. Stoker, and I vouch for Mr. Reed. Mr. Stoker vouches for me. I have never heard of anything, any pronouncement, dogma, enunciation, or pontification that is better substantiated. What is a straight line? A straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. Well then, what is the shortest distance between 2 points? That would be a straight line. According to the test of ages, the definition that a straight line is a straight line cannot be improved upon. I start with a logic as exacting as Euclid's. Mr. Stoker was driving along the Newark Highway, one of the most extensive of the desert regions of Nevada. Thunderstorm! Down came frogs, up on their hind legs went the horses. The exasperated Springboks, they were told of in the Northern News, Freiburg, Transvaal, March 21st, 1925, by Mr. C.J. Gruer of Utenhagen. I also have a letter from Mr. Gruer. The flats, about 50 miles from Utenhagen, Springboks leaping and shaking themselves unaccountably. At a distance, Mr. Brewer could conceive of no explanation of such eccentricities. He investigated and saw that a rain of little frogs and fishes had pelted the springbocks. Mr. Brewer heard that sometime before, at the same place, there had been a similar shower. Coffins have come down from the sky. Also, as everybody knows, silk hats and horse collars and pajamas. But these things have come down at the time of a whirlwind. The two statements that I start with are that no shower exclusively of coffins, nor of marriage certificates, nor of alarm clocks has ever been recorded, but that showers exclusively of living things are common. And yet, the explanation by orthodox scientists who accept that showers of living things have occurred is that the creatures were the products of whirlwinds. The explanation is that little frogs, for instance, fall from the sky unmixed with anything else because in a whirlwind the creatures were segregated by differences in specific gravity. But when a whirlwind strikes a town, away go detachables in a monstrous mixture. And there's no findable records of wash tubs coming down in one place, all a town's cats in one falling battle that lumps its infelicities in one place, and all the kittens coming down together somewhere else in a distant bunch that meows for its lump of mothers. See London newspapers, August 18th and 19th, 1921. Innumerable little frogs appeared during a thunderstorm upon the 17th in the streets of the northern part of London. I have searched in almost all London newspapers, and in many provincial newspapers, and in scientific publications. There is, findable by me, no mention of a whirlwind upon the 17th of August, and no mention of a fall from the sky of anything else that might be considered another segregated discharge from a whirlwind, if indeed there had been a whirlwind. A whirlwind runs amok and is filled with confusions, and yet to the incoherences of such a thing have been attributed the neatest of classifications. I do not say that no wind ever scientifically classifies objects. I have seen orderly or logical segregations by wind action. I ask for records of whirlwinds that do this. There is no perceptible science by a whirlwind in the delivery of its images. It rats trees, doors, frogs, and parts of cows. But living things have fallen from the sky, or in some unknown way have appeared, and have arrived homogeneously. If they have not been segregated by winds, something has selected them. There have been repetitions of these arrivals. The phenomenon of repetition, too, is irreconcilable with the known ways of whirlwinds. Well, there is an account in the London Daily News, September the 5th, 1922, of little toads, which for 2 days had been dropping from the sky at Chalon-sur-Saône, France. Lies, yarns, hoaxes, mistakes. What's the specific gravity of a lie, and how am I to segregate? That could be done only relatively to a standard, and I have never heard of any standard in religion, philosophy, science, or complication of household affairs that could not be made to fit any requirement. We fit standards to judgments, or break any law it pleases us to break, and fit to the fracture some other alleged law that we say is higher or nobler. We have conclusions which are the products of senility, or incompetence, or credulity, and then argue from them to premises. We forget this process and then argue from the premises, thinking we began there. There are accounts of showering things that came from so far away they were unknown in the places in which they arrived. If only horses and springbocks express emotions in these matters, we'll be calm, thinking that even living things may have been transported to this earth from other worlds. I thank you.
Mr. Charles Boyford,